Hi everyone, my name is Anna Martha Ayala and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. As a reminder, I do every video in English and Spanish, and the degree theory is based on modern Western astrology using the Placidus house system. In today's video, I wanted to talk to Sag rising or Sun in Sagittarius to discuss the planetary energies for 2025. Now, I don't want to call this a horoscope because this does not substitute a one-to-one meeting with an astrologer, but it can give you a general idea of the items that you may be facing or issues that may come up for 2025. Now, if your rising sign, otherwise known as the ascendant, if the degrees are in the latter part of the sign, maybe the houses that I'm mentioning won't correspond to the houses in your natal chart. So then you need to listen to Capricorn's video. So anyway, I will share with you, and I will also I'll link the video that I did on 2025 on mundane astrology, basically, so you get the overall idea for things that can happen in your environment. But this one is going to be tailored more to you personally. So I'm going to share with you the worksheet that I did that illustrates all of the retrogrades and going direct dates, so we can discuss it. Now, you are ruled by Jupiter. So the most important retrograde for you is Jupiter. It's your chart ruler. But the other planets are also important, but for you, the focus is on Jupiter. Now, with Mercury going retrograde, March 15th of 2025 at 9 degrees of Aries, and it will go direct on April 7th of 2025 at 26 degrees of Pisces. And you'll notice here that I'm saying that it's going to be stationing at this sign and this degree. So what does stationing mean? Well, it means that from our viewpoint here on Earth, the planet is going direct. It's moving forward. But then it stops or it stations and at 9 degrees of Aries. So if you have any planets in Aries, plus or minus 3 degrees, let's say from 6 to 12 degrees of Aries, then Mercury is going to be having an extra conversation with that planet. Okay. Now, same thing applies if you have any planet at 26 degrees of Pisces, plus or minus 3 degrees. If you really want to push it, you can make it a 5-degree orb, but I rather keep it a little tight. But I'm just letting you know you could go up to 5 degrees. Now, you will also have to look for any planets in Libra at 9 degrees, in Capricorn or Cancer, because these are the cardinal points, right? And then Pisces, you got to look at Virgo, Sag, you basically, and Gemini, because these are the mutable signs. So this Mercury will be affecting those particular signs. So again, if you have any planets plus or minus 3 degrees of these degrees, Mercury is going to have an extra conversation. As an example, let's say you have Venus in Aries at 10 degrees. You might get communication from an ex in love or business, or maybe both, right? There's an email, a text message, some communication with that person. All right. Now, Mercury will retrograde July 18th, 2025 at 15 degrees of Leo, and it will go direct on August 11th at 2025 at 4 degrees of Leo. Retrograde again November 9th of 2025 at 6 degrees of Sag. So this is important for you specifically. And then it'll turn direct November 29th at 2025 at 20 degrees of Scorpio. So again, you need to look for planets, your rising sign degree, or your angles. The angles are the ascendant the fourth house, seventh house, 10th house. Now, Venus goes retrograde March 2nd of 2025 at 10 degrees of Aries, and then it goes direct on April 13th of 2025 at 24 degrees of Pisces. So you can see that these degrees from 9 degrees Aries to 24 degrees of Pisces, Mercury and Venus is going to happen at the same time. So there will be communications in love or business if you have any planets or angles close to these degrees. Now, Mars is going to retrograde on December 6th of 2024 at 6 degrees of Leo, and is going to go direct on February 24th of 2025 at 17 degrees of Cancer. With Jupiter, this one's important, very important for you, Sag. Jupiter is going to retrograde October 10th of 2024 at 21 degrees of Gemini, and it will go direct on February 24th, 2025 at 11 degrees of Gemini. So for you, Gemini is your seventh house, and Jupiter is going retrograde back and forth. So could there be somebody from your past that's coming back, or maybe you meet a significant other in a long-term relationship, seventh house, in love or business? Saturn. Saturn will go retrograde July 13th of 2025 at 10 degrees of Aries, and it will go direct November 28th of 2025 at 25 degrees of Pisces. Now, you all know or should know that Venus and Jupiter are the benefic planets of the zodiac, and Mars and Saturn are the malefic planets of the zodiac. So Venus and Jupiter give you extra goodies, extra, pleasant stuff, right? Like Jupiter will give you more opportunities, let's say to meet your significant other. And Mars and Saturn, well, Saturn gives you lessons. It's the teacher of the zodiac, right? It is the master teacher of the zodiac. It gives you a lot of lessons. And Mars, well, it gives you challenges, arguments, difficulties. Uranus is going to retrograde September 2nd of 2024 at 27 degrees of Taurus, and it'll go direct on January 30th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Taurus. Now, you all should know by now that Algol, the demon star, is at 26 degrees of Taurus. So Uranus is going to transit that star when it's going retrograde. And then when it goes direct, it will make the last and final transit to that star, Algol. Now, for anybody, and this is how you apply it to your chart, if you have natal Mercury around here in Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, or Leo, there is a chance for a car accident. So a remedy for that is to put a little airplane or a picture of an airplane, print it out on your computer, cut out the little airplane, and put it in your car. Now, this does not substitute being careful driving or slowing down, because Uranus is everything fast. So you might tend to speed, so you need to slow down, but this airplane in the car is one of the remedies that could hopefully absorb the energy of a potential car accident. If you have Mars in aspect with Uranus during this period, the same thing applies. If you have it in the fourth house, it could be an accident at home. In the sixth house, it could be an accident at work. If it's the third house, well, then it's a car accident, right? So just be mindful and, drive carefully. Be careful at home with any wires, cables, stuff like that. Neptune is going to go retrograde July 4th of 2025 at 2 degrees of Aries, and then it will turn direct on December 10th of 2025 at 29 degrees of Pisces. So here we go again. Neptune, there is a malefic star but it's a dangerous star called Sheet, and it hovers around 29 degrees of Pisces. So next summer, the hurricanes, the rainstorms, the floods, tsunamis, they're going to be intense. There's a great chance that things can really, just like now, because we're going through that transit now as well. Um, if you're going on a beach vacation, if you are going on a cruise, be mindful. If you are asked to evacuate, don't argue. Be one of the first ones to embark and leave the place because it's for a reason, right? And there's danger in the water, just in regular activities. If you guys go water skiing or what do you call it? Yeah, like jet skiing, stuff like that, wear your life preservers. Just be a little extra careful next summer. Now, Pluto is going to go retrograde May 4th of 2025 at 3 degrees of Aquarius, and then it'll turn direct on October 14th of 2025 at 1 degree of Aquarius, and it will stay there for the next 20 years. So this is going to be a very long transit. All right. So now for ascendant Sagittarius or Sun in Sagittarius. Let's discuss Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a beautiful sign, and the morale is super high. They're very moral people, very optimistic, and quite lucky because you're ruled by Jupiter. You can pick up a foreign language very quickly. They're always interested in learning. They're always interested in traveling. They're the eternal student, right? And they also learn a lot when they're traveling. They like to explore the world. They're usually very happy people. They make great teachers. From all that learning that they do, they've been doing all their lives. They're like master teachers. So let's talk about how the ingresses of the planets are going to affect you and the houses that they're going to affect you in. Neptune is going to ingress in Aries, your fifth house. So, what did I say? Neptune is going to ingress in your fifth house in the sign of Aries. So, this transit lasts for 14 years. The fifth house has to do with romance. It has to do with your kids, with going on vacation, things that you do for fun, your hobbies, right? So if we are talking about the romance department, a Neptunian type of person can come into the picture. So we're talking about boyfriend, girlfriend material here. So this person can be artistic, like they can be a painter, a musician, somebody spiritual, creative, or the other side of Neptune, which is not so nice, they can be physically sick. They can have mental illness too. They can be addicted to drugs, or someone with a dubious background, criminal also, because Neptune rules criminality. So when Neptune is transiting in the fifth house, you may fall in love, with the idea of love. You can be daydreaming about the perfect prince or princess coming into your life. So there can also be an energy with children that they are angels, right? That your kids don't do anything wrong. But in fact, the reality is that their teachers don't think so, right? So, with Neptune clouding your fifth house in both romance and with your children, you need to be mindful of that. Now, for the first 2.5 years of this transit, thankfully, you're going to have Saturn, who is also entering into your fifth house. So if a person comes into your life, as I described, just a few minutes ago, you will want a defined relationship. Not none of this, what is it? Uh, Friend with benefits type of thing. No, you want to know that you are the boyfriend or you are the girlfriend. So you want something that's defined. Now, especially with Saturn, like I said, in your fifth house, you want a commitment from that person or it will end. Saturn doesn't play around. Saturn knows what it wants and they will tell you what they want. So for those of you that are single, a person from your past, Saturn, that rules time, typically a man will come back into the picture. You may feel also, because Saturn rules responsibility, you may feel a lot of responsibility for your kids, or maybe you want to have a baby and you're thinking about, wow, it's going to be a lot of responsibility having a child. So you're, if that's the case, then these are the things that Saturn will be reminding. The other thing I wanted to let you know about Saturn in the fifth, it can put a damper on fun because when it comes to having fun, um, Saturn is all about work. It's all about discipline. It's all about structure. It's all about being responsible. So remember to schedule Saturn a date night with your boyfriend or your girlfriend so that way you do have some fun when Saturn is there. Otherwise, it's going to be a really boring 2.5 years. Now, Uranus is coming into your seventh. So um, anytime Uranus enters a house, it changes. It's an unpredictable energy, right? So if you are single, and we all know that the seventh house is the house of long-term relationships in love, in business, it also rules legal matters as well. So if you're single, you may meet a long-term relationship person, right? In love or business, you can acquire a new business partner. If married, there are changes in the marriage. You can separate because there's a change in the marriage. But many times I see people divorcing. Okay. I mean, it's not always 100%, but most of the time it is that you get a divorce. So, Uranus can also bring a love of first sight type of person into your life. And if it aspects your natal Venus, chances are the person you meet may not be around for a long time. It's one of those short relationships because Uranus just keeps changing. So, and you'll meet this person suddenly, unexpectedly. When you least expect it, that's when it happens, right? All right, so the lunar nodes are going into your fourth house and your 10th house. The lunar nodes are changing from Aries and Libra to Pisces and Virgo. The north node is going to be in your fourth house, so this indicates changes in your family. Family meaning your parents, your grandparents, the actual building, the apartment, the home that you live at. You can move, you can buy, you can renovate your home over the next 18 months. If you're trying to sell a home, put it on the market when the new moon or solar eclipses or the solar eclipse goes through your fourth house. That would be a great time to sell, okay? Um, Also, Jupiter in Cancer is going to make the prices of real estate go up a little bit. So for sellers, it's a great time. For buyers, the ideal time to buy would be 2028, because the same thing that happened in 2008, if you guys were around then, when the real estate market dropped, the same thing's going to happen because the nodes will be in Capricorn and Cancer, and the south node will be in Cancer. So you lose your home. God forbid, right? But I'm just letting you know you can take the, advantage, right? And save up money because cash will be king, right? Credit's going to be tight. So you need a good down payment to buy your home. Now, the south node is in the 10th. So the south node, as I just said, always talks about losses. So you can change careers, change jobs. You could be let go, right? You can lose your job. A supervisor can leave or retire. You can have clashes with the authority figures, supervisors, your parents. So be mindful about what you say. Now, lastly, Pluto is in the third house, and this is a pretty okay transit, right? Because it trines the ascendant. So the third house rules the mind, your thoughts, communication, transportation. A great time to do research work. You can really go deep because Pluto is some is a sign or is a planet that makes you go deep and try to find like the you can be a detective basically. Um, your mind will be like in Sherlock Holmes mode. Careful with your words because it's the third house, Pluto. Anything spoken or written because it can come off as forceful, like a bully type of situation. If Pluto aspects Mercury or Mars, again, be careful with car accidents, especially at the degree of Mercury 3, 15, and 27, or Mars is 1, 13, and 25. If you have the Mercury or the Mars in your natal chart at those degrees, be mindful, slow down. You can, a remedy for this is put a picture of a snake, Pluto, in your car. So you're going to have an airplane and you're going to have a picture of a snake. Okay. So, all right. Sag, with this, I conclude your planetary energy for 2025. If I wish you many blessings for 2025. I hope that it'll be a very productive year for you. If you have found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and send it to somebody that might benefit from this information. As always, if you would like a natal chart reading with me, please send me an email to amaastrology@aol.com, and I wish you the best. See you in the next video.